Hello and welcome to the Third Sector. I'm your host, Tamara Brinkman. In our society, there are three sectors: the public, the private, and the nonprofit. And it's that third sector that we're here to talk about today. Joining me for today's episode, we have Dr. Lucinda Wright from Townsend Community Center, Incorporated, as well as Ellen Mabry, who is the Vice President of the Board of Directors. So welcome, ladies, to the Third Sector.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we are just thrilled that you're here, and we are excited to hear all things Townsend Community Center, Incorporated today. So, and I know we've got the right people to talk to us about it today. So why don't we just dive right into it and tell us about the history of Townsend Community Center, Incorporated, and by that, when did it get started in the work that it does today?
In February of 1921 is when it was birthed, and it was birthed out of necessity due to the Jim Crow laws. And back in 1921, African Americans, poor whites, immigrants were not allowed to participate in mainstream education, employment, housing, recreation. So there were some forward-thinking men and women, both black and white, who got together. And we're not a faith-based organization, but its principles are based on faith and on Christian principles. And that's how Townsend was birthed. So our birth is unique, therefore Townsend Community Center, Incorporated is unique and has been and continues to be relevant 103 years later.
Wow. So when it was started, was the purpose and the mission of the organization the same then as it is today, or has that changed over the years?
We've adapted.
Okay.
Over the years. I do believe it says that it was to assist and uplift. Back then it said, it referred to us as colored people. Today,
yes,
it's to uplift and assist all people,
right,
regardless of your socioeconomic status.
Right,
so
color and everything else, right.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the mission of Townsend? And I'm shortening it because it's a long name, so.
Yeah, that's fine. You can call it, we call it the center.
Okay, so we'll call it, for this
center.
Conversation, we'll call it the center. So what is the mission for the center?
It is to help those who seek assistance with education, give them options, connect them with resources, to just, to help them with, to become the best version of themselves that they were created to be. Yeah, wouldn't you say that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ellen, how long have you been involved with Townsend, the center?
I am
I'll have the lingo.
I'm a Townsend brat.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Richmond.
Okay.
Townsend Center, probably from the time I was 9 or 10 years old.
Right.
Playing softball, going down there, learning to sew, learning to cook. We had skates. There was a library where we had to do our homework. Some of the older women that worked with the children, we had like a little square dance where we learned to square dance.
Oh boy, I remember.
Talent shows. So
yeah.
just
right. A real community center, a community hub for community members to get to do all kinds of different things.
Grew up, my uncles, my dad, his brothers were Townsend brats as well.
Yeah.
An endearing nomenclature. So let's talk a little bit about tell me about the impact that Townsend has on the lives of the community.
Well, people know that they can come or pick up the phone and call and get the information that they need. Whether it's, I need my light bill paid, where can I get assistance? Or to the extent that my kid is failing in school. Do you have any programs? Sure, we have our after-school program, Harambe. And let me say on camera, thanks to United Way. We appreciate all that you do for Harambe. Because since 2017, 98% of our children have made the honor roll. And 100% of them have shown improvement. And I have to give credit where credit is due. That is due to Miss Adria Deloney, who is our program coordinator, and she runs the after-school program. Thanks to her and her group of volunteers for what they do for our children. Even the teachers and principals have said, we know which children attend your program because their behaviors improve, their grades improve.
Okay.
So, and then we have various programming. The various program that we have is because people have the misconception that we just deal with children.
Right.
And that's not true.
Right.
That's not true.
Okay.
We have various other programs for adults. We have our Women of Worth program, which women from 16 to 116 can participate in this year. It starts on the 26th of this month.
Okay.
We're going to start our Women of Worth program, and we're asking each one to bring one.
Okay.
And we have a lot of people who have been in it for the last 3 years or better that continue to come because they say they learn more and they get more information regarding resources.
So let's talk a little bit more specifically about Women of Worth. So obviously by the title, I think the title alone gives away a fair amount of what the basis of the program is. But more specifically, what tools or learnings take place during your courses that do help to match to the title of the program?
Our programs are governed, well, not governed, but we come up with the programs due to conversations that we have with people in the community. As women, our challenges are much different than men.
Yep.
So when I came up with this program back in 2016, we as women try to be everything to everybody all the time, and we don't take the time for ourselves. That's how this program came to be. So we talk about self-esteem versus self-worth, because a lot of people use those two words interchangeably, and they're not.
Yeah, good point.
We talk about mental health because, let's face it, mental health is real.
Right.
We talk about healthy relationships. We talk about toxic relationships.
Right.
We talk about physical health. Right now, these days, a lot of women are saying, oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know why I'm burning up. I don't know what this is. And, oh, my attitude sucks. And it's called menopause, ladies. It's called premenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. That's what it's called.
Yep.
So we talk about those things. We talk about raising children, 21st century children, whether they're infants, toddlers, or adults.
Yeah.
Because I don't care if they're 18 or if they're 48. You're going to be parenting them until you leave this world. This world. So those are just a few of the things that we talk about. We talk about self-care and self-love. We talk about those things.
Right.
So, and the acronym for it is WOW. So,
Yeah, I think that's pretty fun too.
yeah.
Going back just a step before we go on to other programs, to the kids that you guys serve, how that are making the grades and are graduating or have improved grades, as you mentioned some of those percentages. How many kids do you think you connect with a year? Would you say, through Townsend?
Well, in our after-school program, right now we have 35 registered.
Okay.
But with all the volunteers that we now have, that number will more than likely increase. That's just in that part. We have another after-school program that Ellen, myself, and Mr. Bob Bennett, who is a board member, that we teach. It's called, you may hear us talk about SWP, or Student with Purpose. We actually teach it at Test twice a week, and at Dennis twice a week. And total in that right now, we have about a total of 22 students.
Okay.
And that is a curriculum that Richmond Community Schools has. They approached us and asked us to teach it, and we said sure, and then they said, okay, you got to get certified in it. So we were certified in it. We taught it at Test the first year, and then they came back and they said, hey, will you teach it again next year? I was like, sure. They said, well, do you mind teaching it at Dennis too? And we said, sure.
Right.
And then after they left, we sat there and we looked at each other, was like, what did we just do? So, and our understanding as of last week, we're going to teach the Hibbert students, 5th through 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what this program's given to the kids that you're connecting with at those schools.
I'll let Ellen tell you.
Okay.
Now, my background, I've been certified in cognitive behavioral programs.
Okay.
So Students with a Purpose to me is like a cognitive behavioral program. The way you think is the way you act. So, when you walk in a classroom, would you be disrespectful to your mother at home and then walk into a classroom and do the same thing to a teacher? Or if you come from a home where you're not going to to your parents,
Right.
why would you do it when you go to school? So we just kind of gear them into respect, not just respect of others, but respect for yourself.
Okay.
Because the way you treat someone reflects
Right.
what they're going to think of you later in life.
Right.
So it was kind of fun. It is fun because the kids walk in and, it's Miss Ellen and Dr. Wright. And I think the first class we taught, a little boy came in and I said, what's your name? He said, what? No, I said, let's back up, kids. It's not what. It's either yes or yes, ma'am. And so the next class, he came in and I said something to him. He said, yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. And, so it's just little things that we do with them. We try to reward them. We tell them that school is their job.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Their grades are their pay.
Yes.
Oh.
And what we do is their bonus.
It's bonus.
Oh, okay.
And they
I like
never
that.
know what their bonus is going to be.
Okay.
So what I do is I usually come up with the bonuses when I'm going to give it to them, what it's going to be. They never know.
Right.
And we give them journals at the beginning of the year and writing utensils. One of the requirements, you have to bring your journal to every class. You have to do your assignment that we give. If we give you an assignment, it has to be completed. When you come back to class, I'll say, who has their journal? And so it might be 5 weeks.
Right.
And that 5th week, who's got their journals? And if 2 people have their journals and their writing utensils and the assignment done, I might give them $2, I might give them $5, I might give them a $10 gift certificate to McDonald's. It's just they never know. So we're teaching them to be responsible It's your responsibility to make sure that you have your utensils when you go to work.
Right. Really good skills, really needed life skills.
Yeah.
And we
Military education.
Yeah.
There's 16 chapters, and we have the
there's
curriculum.
a curriculum. There's
Yeah,
a curriculum.
And we go by that curriculum, but we add our flair.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And when I see them getting antsy, I might turn on the phone and just start dancing and get the kids up and we'll dance around the room.
Right.
It's just-
I have the videos.
Oh, too bad we don't have those to play right now.
I have the videos.
But how fun though, I mean, you're giving them, sounds like you're giving them values, but in a way that can be fun because that, kids need it in a different way, right?
If there's a movie, we say, and we'll decide, let's take them to the movies
Yes.
or let's take them out to
okay.
eat. But they have
Nice.
to earn it.
Right.
Those that have
Completed.
participated in everything, completed what they were required to complete, okay, we're taking you out to eat. Or we
Right.
might, last week we brought in pizzas. We had
Yeah,
a pizza
pizza
party
party.
for
Aw,
them.
just
they didn't
fun.
know.
And they had no clue. So we
Right.
do things like that because just like a bonus, when you're adults and you get a bonus, you don't know when you're going to get it.
Right,
In a
or-
lot of
yeah.
cases, you don't know that
Yeah.
you're going to get it. And the other thing that we do in Student with the Purpose, like I said, it's a mentor and leadership program, and I'm certified to teach youth drug education prevention program called Prime for Life. So myself and Miss Adria both have been certified, and she uses it at the after-school program at the facility, at our building. We combine that with that because peer pressure is a booger. Talking to the kids, the one day we even asked, and we're talking to 5th and 6th graders that first year, and was like, how many of you in here have been offered drugs? And the hands that shot up, it's like, where were you at? At school?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. We're at school. In the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So, we talk about these things because I'm a realist. I remember what it was like in school. Mm-hmm. And I pray that I don't ever forget that. I remember when I was their age. Mm-hmm. So we realize how peer pressure,
And it's
peer
worse
pressure
now
is.
than it
Than
it was
was
then.
when we were growing up.
Far
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
So we do that. We
Well,
also
just-
want to make sure that they're all on the same level playing field as some of their peers. Because if they need help, if there's a resource that this family needs, I'll talk to that parent one-on-one.
Yeah.
We call them because what we do, we give people, we believe in giving a hand up, not a handout, but a hand up, and to show them you can do this, this, and this. This is how you're able to accomplish this.
Right.
And sometimes we even do a plan for the parents, an IEP, if per se for the parents.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm sure, you know what? Life is hard.
It
Parents
is.
can use some help, especially if, you got a lot of single parents and, an extra set of hands or just somebody else who takes
Yes.
a second to care about your challenges and maybe give you a little bit of help probably goes a long way. So
Yeah.
I'm sure, a lot of a lot of need in that area. No, most definitely.
yes.
What are your goals for the next year for the organization?
Well, today we're going to go pick up our van that we just.
Well, congratulations.
This has been a long time coming. So today actually, once we leave here, we're going to
Okay.
go and pick up our new van.
Well, yay.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see Townsend,
Yes.
the center, the
Yeah.
center
Yeah,
van.
we'll pro- yes.
The center van will be
center,
driving
yeah.
around town.
Yeah. We were given a grant to start our youth media program. And a young man has volunteered, but like you said, this summer, things were this year, 2024 has been a challenging year trying to get everything we need to get done. And in a timely fashion, and we're getting students to sign up for our youth media. Right now, I think we're going to limit it because this is the first time. This is a pilot program, so we don't want to overwhelm the young man who volunteered to do it. So we are hoping to register 7 to 10 students to do this program.
Okay.
So that's new. We are getting ready to do our choice program.
Okay.
That is to help individuals who had been incarcerated but released and having difficult times in finding employment.
Okay. Yep.
Or getting education, not only for them but for empty nesters who have not worked, say, in 20 years.
Right.
And now they're empty nesters. Now they want to get back in the workforce, or they want to go back to school. How about doing doing that? And it's for people who've not ever worked at all.
Yeah.
And those individuals who job hop will work 30 days, get a check or two, then quit, and then because there's a reason why.
Yeah.
There's a reason for everything. So just a matter of pinpointing what it is and then dealing with that.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're always looking at the needs of the community.
Yeah.
Always. And so we listen and we hear what our constituents are saying to us. So, and our goal is to have 100% of our children make the honor roll and 100% show improvement as well.
I think those are good goals.
Yes.
Excuse me, a little froggy in the throat. For the viewers who have been watching today and hearing about this, if they wanted to either get involved by volunteering or get involved in one of the programs, learn more about the opportunities or when there might be, one of the, timing of the programs, what's the best way for them to connect with you guys?
Either call.
Okay.
Or
Stop by the building.
Stop by the building and take a look at the building.
Okay.
Because a lot of people have not even been in our new building. Some have been in there when we first moved in there.
Right.
So if they come back by and see the changes that have been made, and just to see the building as a whole, because people don't realize the space that we have just by looking at from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a big building. I've been in it. It's on 10th Street.
Yeah, 300 North 10th Street.
So if they did want to come, do they just come knock on the door and someone's there all the time, or should they call ahead and make sure that someone might be around?
Well, call ahead at 765 488-2042.
Okay.
Which he's
he's putting some numbers up for you, so we'll have that. And then, okay.
If I don't answer, either I'm with a client, or I'm in a meeting, or I'm on a webinar.
Right.
But leave a message.
Right. Okay.
Leave a message.
As we are getting close to the end of our time, I want to ask one question and let each of you take the opportunity to answer. What brings you the most joy about what you do? And you guys can choose who charges. Okay, so Ellen, you're up first.
I'm a people person.
Okay.
I like to see people smile. It's just being able to get someone over a hump and being there, because I was very fortunate to have a lot of mentors in my life. That had it not been, some of them were my school teachers, some of them were people like Lucinda, because I have to have a place event, and I know how it's helped me, so I want to give that to someone else who doesn't have it.
Right.
Don't be afraid to approach me. I'm approachable.
Okay.
For me, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not something that I had aspired to ever do. When I retired, I was going to travel But God placed me here, and He doesn't give me a vision without provisions. This fantastic board that we have, these wonderful people that we serve, when they get it, that brings me so much joy. When the children get it, when the adults get it, when we as board members get it, that just brings me a lot of joy and happiness. I just, I love what I do. And that's why, I do what I do. I just, I love my community.
Right.
I love my community. And I'm territorial about the people we serve. I am territorial about that because you hear so many negative things, and my thing is, have you ever been hungry? Have you ever, and I tell this to people when they say these things, have you ever been hungry? Have you ever not been able to provide for your children or your family? Have you ever depended on social services to give you a check once a month? And you can't buy toilet paper, and you can't buy Pampers, you can't buy bath soap. Have you ever been in that person's shoes?
Right.
So that's why I'm so territorial, because people are narrow-minded and have blinders on and can't see the big picture, because I can see the potential in every single person, whether it is in a child or an adult. I can see the potential in everybody, the positive potential in everybody that we serve.
Well, we will leave it there because that is a great place for us to close up this segment for this episode of the show, because I think that's just such a wonderful, you're clearly doing the work you're meant to be doing, and I think our community is very lucky for it. Thank you for both of you and all of those that serve at the center and do the work that you guys do to help our kiddos and, all of us in the community, the adults too. Because just because you get grown up and you get adult doesn't mean that life is on easy street, as we know.
No.
So anyway, well, we will leave it there with this episode of The Third Sector. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.